What's up, Leo? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, appreciate you subscribing. Thanks for the likes and just thank you again for subscribing and for sharing those things. For those of you who are new, welcome. Have your higher selves have brought you here. And what we're going to be doing this week is a reading for the week of October 16th through the 22nd. And just so you all know that this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation. Okie dokie? So let's go ahead and get started. Yo, Spaces clans. Yo, Gems of clans. Everything's squeaky clean. I even wiped down this table. We're ready. So, what I'm going to be doing is pulling 15 cards. It's going to be in 5 groups of 3. The center group is going to be the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corner are going to be some possible future options that you all might be facing. Or might be considering. You haven't faced them yet. They're in the future. On the bottom left is going to be some perspectives that you might need to consider in relation to the problem. And then on the bottom right is going to be how your higher self is contributing to this. So, and if you're curious, I'm using the Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. Imagery on this deck is awesome. So I'll be sure to give you some close-ups on these cards as we go. So without further ado, what is in store for Leo this week? Yeah, that feels good. All right, let's get these cards pulled and see what we're working with here. Nice. Okay. Bam. Okay. Oh, what's good, D? Got the cats out. Everyone's excited for your reading, Leo. Okay. Let me get these organized here, and then we'll get going. Okie dokie. Nice. Okay. All right, Leo. So for the nature of your problem, you have the Two of Cups here. And the cards that came with it are the Moon and the Hierophant. So, this is an interesting setup of cards here, Leo. What I'm intuitively getting this week is, well, which one I'm getting all the time, is with these Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, it's got big old love on here, so it's, taking the surprise out of it. But yes, it can represent love, but I like to think of it as a love for yourself. And what I mean by that is, I feel like the nature of your problem this week is that enough of you might not have been, some of you might not have been focusing on that, may not be in a good place, or you're trying to figure out what does that mean for you. Because self-care is hard, or self-love can be hard sometimes. It's so easy to, I know I'm personally can be my biggest critic. And so one thing I've been trying to do, and I had just told a friend this not too long ago, if you have a situation where let's say haven't been practicing this Two of Cups mentality, it's a good time to, what are some things that you love about yourself? This is Venus in Cancer. So this is very, we're really trying to build our self-esteem back up. I feel like this is asking you to take the time this week to really get back, let's get back to the basics. Love yourself first. Because I like to think of that this pillar here, this is you. This starts here, and then you produce these Two of Cups. Two of Cups just don't come here. You have to, it all starts within. I feel like once you kind of get, once that makes sense, because, no, it's one thing to say it, and, to tell, there are probably thousands upon thousands of articles about how to love yourself, how to do these things. But it's really just kind of just once I feel like you get, start taking those steps to get there, I feel like you're going to see, you know, that wellspring is going to start spilling out. You got one cup, and it's like, oh, I love myself a little more. Oh, now we got 2 cups, and then it's like you want to share. And I feel like these represent, kind of people that you want to share with, and then that abundance spills until we eventually got the 10 of cups, which is one of the end games. But that's what I'm feeling with the nature of your problem. I feel like this is about this is about self-care this week, or we're really kind of getting to and I'm glad don't even get me started on self-care. We'll wait till you see what's on the right, Leo. But you'll see why I'm excited. But I feel like this is, once you take that time, take that journey inside, and really start taking that first step to loving yourself, I really think that's going to be very rewarding for you. And it could be this could be a new thing to some of you. With the moon here, the moon card represents illusions, deceptions, mystery, and I feel like with this, I'm getting more of a shadow is what I'm getting. I'm getting with this one is that these are deceptions or illusions that you've told yourself, that have been getting in the way of this 2 of cups, and it doesn't need to be. I feel like you got look at this. You have all this nurturing energy here. You got the moon, you got the moon, you got Venus and Cancer. I feel like this should, what should be a time of like, I feel like because the moon can also represent voluntary change, but I feel like what could be something really nice and beautiful is right now is things you're telling your things that are. You're telling things that are kind of deceiving you a little bit, that is getting in the way of that 2 of cups. And I feel like this with the moon here, it's not just, shining a light on the fact that there's an illusion, but again, when I was talking about that voluntary change, I think that this challenges us to go ahead and start taking that change, to get over the illusion that, if you're, I'm not trying to, I'm just projecting here, but let's say, for example, there's some of you, let's say if you're not like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I wish I could do this, or blah, 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 that. I feel like this is getting out of, once you realize that you are enough, you're more than you ever need to be, I always welcome you. I welcome you in my space every week, Leo. I'm always happy to have you here. And I feel like this is now telling you need to be happy to have you here. This is because you should. And I think that there's going to be some with the Hierophant here. Now we're gonna move on to him. With the Hierophant being here, I think you're going to gain some real wisdom for this. And you know what, too? I think I can lean into his other aspects too, or his other attributes. He's about divine wisdom, patience, perseverance. This is Taurus energy. And I feel like I feel like you're going to get some really nice wisdom once you've gone through that change, lifted that veil of illusion and get into that where you're really kind of 2 of cups. You're every day you're like 2 of cups, 2 of cups. Watch me 2 of cups. And once you do, man, it's going to be, I feel like it's going to give you this, it's going to provide you with a clarity and a wisdom that you didn't even expect. But that being said, it does take time. Now, not nearly as long as the Hierophant, because the Hierophant, I feel like in this deck, it says that he moves every 2,000 years. So maybe let's move. I know you can't rush these things, but let's not take 2,000 years. Let's go ahead and I think it's just more so just be patient, and to know that your 2 of cups is coming. So I won't harp too long on that, but I hope that resonates with some of you. And you know what? Since I talked about self-care, let's start over here. For some of you, on this right-hand side, I pulled the Knight of Wands, the Empress, and the Universe. So with this Knight of Wands, normally when I talk about the Knight of Wands is, I usually put a caveat onto him. And that's only because he's without the caveat, he's big energy. You know, the knights are the fiery parts of whatever suit they're in. So he's the fiery part of fire. Wands are fire. So he's everywhere he's going, shit set ablaze. You know, he's going in when he's decided something, it's full steam ahead. And normally I would preface with that with like kind of be careful about how you expend that energy, you know, whatnot. But I feel like with the knight here, and to bring this point home, to make this point make more sense, depending on where the knights are facing, I usually like to think of it as the coming or going of energy, depending. And this knight was facing towards you, which I say in this instance, I say full steam ahead on this, because this is saying full steam ahead towards loving yourself. I say that there is, you know, and that can never happen soon enough. If something, my hope is that something will click, and that you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I need a self-care, and you're in it. And I think that this is saying take that energy and go nurture yourself. And this is perfect, because now we're moving on to the Empress. The Empress is my self-care OG. She is all about beauty, aesthetics. This is Venus. If Venus was a person, it's the Empress, and she is all about self-care. And that's so funny too, because now she's, look at it this way, she got on the back of this horse. She's like, hell yeah, let's go get this guy some self-care. Let's go and get Leo some self-care. Not just this guy, we're getting everybody. Let's go give them some self-care. And I feel like that's what I'm getting with some of you here. I think that there is, either you're getting ready to come to this realization, or you're going there now. We are self-caring like nobody's business, and good for you, because I feel like that's what we all should really be striving for. Really, just taking that time just to catch. Like, when's the last time you said, like, when's the last time I loved myself, in the sense, like, said something really nice about myself, congratulated something that I did. Yeah, I feel like that's what this is. That's what is happening with this. Some of you on the right, I say that it's like you're realizing this energy, like, yeah, I've been giving myself too much, and it's time to, I need to take a step back and just kind of refill this cup, so that you can go out there again. You know, I think it's noble. You know, if some of you maybe are let's say, in example, if you're in something where you have to deal with like customer service or something, you know, if you're doing that all the time, telling you're giving, and you're not getting anything back, you're gonna burn out, and then it's gonna lead to this thing of like, well, how come I can't perform? Why am I always tired? Maybe I'm just this, maybe I'm just that, such and such, and then it just you're spiral. You're making an illusion for yourself, and we're done with illusions, Leo. We are done with them. We are charging full steam ahead, and that's perfect here that the universe is here, because this is it. This is clarity. This is for real end game. You know, I usually say sun is end game, but sun's like top 3. This is for sure, like, you've created, this is you, everything has become clear. You have manifested your universe. You know, you've taken this space, you know, taken this beauty, and now you've made this whole new world, and now you're getting ready to go out and turn this 2 of Cups into a 10 of Cups. Let's go out there and make things prosper, Leo. So that's what I'm intuitively feeling for some of you here. I do definitely take that energy and just go for it. You know, I feel like don't look back. When it comes to taking care of yourself, don't look back. You know, just, yeah, take that time, get there, and man, you're going to just feel so much better. And it's, you know, it won't be, you'll notice it over time too. It won't be, there will be that initial overnight effect where it's like, wow, I feel great. And, you know, feel proud of that. You know, be that Leo that you are, and go ahead and parade that. You know, be proud of that. But I think you're really going to notice, too, that overtime effect as well, because that is equally rewarding. So now, for some others, on this left-hand side here, I pulled the Devil, the Prince of Swords, and the Princess of Swords. So this is really is almost like the exact opposite of what's going on over here. I feel like, you know, with the Devil being here, the Devil card is like it can represent intoxication, blind impulse. It's just that something has, what started out as something excuse me, it's something. Oh, I wish it was here. What might have started out as like a Four of Cups, which is like something that you enjoyed, but might have maybe didn't appreciate. Now we're kind of like overindulging is what I'm getting at. I'm taking the long way. Overindulgence is what I'm getting at with here, and that we've just kind of here's a good analogy. So I have this really bad habit. Sometimes we're getting better at it. Let me stop that. I'll get a bag of chips. You open some while you're cooking something. It's like, okay, I'll start with one, close the bag, go sit down, do something, and then like throughout my day of doing stuff, I'll always make a lap past the chips, and then we're grabbing one, and then we grab a whole nother one, and then we grab a handful, then we're grabbing a bowl, and then I'm like, oh well, I might as well finish them. Now there's only crumbs, and it's like, what the hell happened? A devil moment happened because something has gotten, and I feel like this devil moment is whatever these deceptions that we've been telling ourselves, Leo. This is because toxic. And yeah, like kind of like, and because it is kind of toxic. Like when you're bringing yourself down like that, that's energy. That's taking out of this Knight of Wands energy. And when you're channeling that and you're constantly telling yourself these things, if you are in that instance, if this applies to you, that can become a devil moment too. It doesn't necessarily, when we think of like addictions and things like that, initial is like drugs, alcohol, sex, and those all definitely, that's all in the devil's wheelhouse. The devil loves that shit. But this, I feel like ones that aren't talked about is that like that being in that negative mindset, that can be just as toxic. And the devil isn't, I feel like the devil isn't there to just like throw this in your face. Because when you look at the devil here, he's got a smile on his face. He's happy that you see him, because I feel like this is just like the devil wanted to get some recognition. It's just like, hey, you've been saying these things. Does this really make you happy? Because this is what's happening. Is this really what's making you happy? The devil's just there. It's kind of like I look at it as our antithesis. The antithesis is not going to do something that is, it may seem shitty in the moment, but it's in the same body with you. This is, it needs you. If you don't exist, then it doesn't exist. So I feel like this is just telling you just to be mindful of that, to give it the space. Excuse me. You think it was my first day on the job. Let me go ahead and silence some of this stuff. Okay. But yeah, that's what I have going on with this devil moment here. It's just there to be just to let us, bring some awareness to our lives. That's all. Because I feel like with, let me set these down for a second. Because now we got this. You got the Princess of Swords and the Prince of Swords, and with the with the princes and the queens, which you don't have any queens here, but they can represent people. So this could be someone else, but I like to think of it as first it's representing you, and then if that's not it, then apply it as needed, as it makes sense. But with this Prince of Swords here, I kind of feel like this is again the Prince of Swords he's a very smart character, but sometimes he doesn't know where to go. He's the airy part of air. The princes represent air, the swords are air. So when you think of him as just like when you got wind, just when you think of like the air just blowing outside, there's it's not going any direction. It's just sort of going with the flow. And that's cool, but I feel like with him, he's trying to gain some kind of control, or he's trying to force his intuition, if you will, or something. I feel like this is kind of like you getting lost in the illusion. This is like things should be this way, but then you look at this chariot here, and it's being dragged along by these little fairies, and sometimes he can be looked at as I'm like holding it down, so you probably couldn't actually see that. But it's got these little fairies here, and usually he can be like a domineering force. But really, what I'm feeling with him in this instance is just that you're this smart, this smart kind of charismatic person, but you just don't know how to channel this energy. This devil moment has got you kind of wandering in the wind. There we go. That's where I'm trying to get to at. It really feels like you kind of got you wandering in the wind. And with this Princess of Swords here, the Princess of Swords, she's another smart one like him, but her stuff, she gets stuck in. She's got very destructive logic, and I feel like that's really applying to this instance here. Since we keep talking about these lies that we're telling ourselves, Leo, I feel like this is you stuck in your destructive logic, and it's got you kind of wandering around aimlessly. That's really kind of what I'm feeling with these two together. It's an interesting combination, these two. But that's really what I'm kind of feeling here. It's, this guy, he wants control, but doesn't know how to explain that. How do you explain how the wind works to someone? And when you do, that's what happens. And then you're trying to getting order of it. And then everyone's like, well, this guy is crazy. I'm not going to listen to him. He's mean. Not only is he mean, he doesn't know where he's going. So we're just going to go off and do our own thing. And then he's frustrated. But he knows where to go. He just has to feel it. Got to get that intuition. And I think that's getting back to, you got to get back into this Two of Cups mentality. Get back in touch with yourself. Because right now, this being trapped in this, whatever this destructive logic is with this Princess of Swords. Because that's really, I feel like that aspect of her is really being emphasized to me in this combination here. So I feel like once you do kind of get a grip, not even kind of, once you get a grip, because I believe in you, Leo, you're going to get a hold of this. Once you get the reins and are able to kind of get those thoughts back on track, that's going to get you, it all is going to come back to here. It's just, some it's like taking that energy to kind of take care of ourselves. Others, it's like, this message might have got to you late. So, and that's fine. It got to you, and I shouldn't even say that it got to you late. It got to you when you needed to hear it. So hopefully, if this is meant for you, you're hearing this, and know that you can get over this devil moment. And that to not make the devil moment as bad as you think. I feel like when we vilify something, then that makes it just that much harder to overcome. When we could take it as a way of, okay, this is not ideal. We are in an unsavory situation. Okay, how do I make this, turn this back to my favor? So that's what I'm getting up with this upper right hand. I won't stay too much longer than that, but I hope that resonates with some of you. Now, on the bottom left here, with some perspectives to consider, or how I'm going to say, Leo, I think we're going to call this the psychological basis of the problem. That's where we're going to, I'm still playing around with that. That's not your problem. Your problem's Two of Cups. And so the psychological basis of your problems are, I pulled the Six of Cups, the Prince of Disc, and the Five of Cups. So with this Six of Cups here, I'm getting like really with this whole row kind of here. I feel like this is, let me start here with these two, because I'm really, with these two, I feel like this is talking about that, the Prince of Disc, he's a very, he's about that, very similar to the Hierophant is what I'm trying to get at, as he's in the sense that he's about like stability, perseverance, patience, all of that. He's a very responsible figure, and I feel like with him being here, I think this is kind of I'm getting like a work smart, play smart kind of vibes here. Be playful with what you're doing. I feel like this is kind of reminding you to have some fun. I feel like maybe some of you have been. I normally don't have negative things to say about the Prince of Disc, but he could possibly come off of like a little stoic, a little dull. Maybe some of you have been feeling like your energy has been lower. You're like, it's been like the same old routine, doing the same things. And I think with the Six of Cups here, I feel like this is kind of inviting you to add some playfulness back into what you're doing. Maybe, you've kind of gotten, it's been a while since you've, when was the last time you had fun at work? Even if, maybe like joking around with coworkers, or, maybe promoting like, hey, let's all go out for, maybe go out for like a little luncheon or something together. Let's meet up, have like a little house dinner, whatever the hell. But I'm thinking that, or I'm feeling with this energy here, is just that, while you're going through this journey of self-love and self-care and all this stuff too, I get that you can't forget, we all got responsibilities that we need to get to take care of, but don't forget to have some fun. Do things that make you happy. That you find pleasurable. Whether it be reading, going for a hike, binge watching some whatever the latest show is, but just something to where, I'm definitely getting the mantra I'm trying think I'm trying to adopt here is the work smart, play smart kind of aspect. We're done working hard and playing hard. You know what that leads to? That's disappointing. Because why would when I work hard, I'm too tired, and then when I play too hard, I'm tired. So let's do it more smart. Let's be let's be a little less disappointed with how we've been going about things. Because I feel like with this Five of Cups here, I think you've been disappointed. I feel like, but disappointed more so in like yourself. Maybe you haven't, with the cups, I don't know if I mentioned that, but the cups have to deal usually with emotional matters. And I feel like with this, you haven't been taking that time, and you might be, some of you, I'm sure you might be aware of that. And, it's hard to get, out of that mentality. It's just this is like another thing thrown onto your devil moment. And that's not the purpose here. This is, I feel like with the Five of Cups, this is kind of asking you to, okay, if let's say something didn't go right this time, how can I spin this around next time so that I can turn this into a Six of Cups as opposed to turning into another Five of Cups moment and then it becoming a devil moment. So yeah, with this bottom left here, I won't stay too long in that one. I'm getting a lot of Scorpio energy here too, so I feel like some of the stuff is coming to light too. Scorpio is kind of they're usually about transformations and things. So I feel like you are coming into this and you are figuring out how to make that Five of Cups turn into that Six of Cups. I feel like this is really kind of that nice. When we, find that balance. So that we're no, that's not what I'm trying to say here. No. We're gonna go. I'm just gonna say we work smart, play smart. I don't even like. I'm trying to incorporate this Five of Cups, but we've been stuck in this Five of Cups so long, Leo. I'm not even trying to stay in this. So let's get here, Leo. Let's do this Prince of this. Let's get to the Six of Cups energy, okay? All right. Now, with how your higher self is playing behind the scenes, I pulled the Princess of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Prince of Wands. So with this Princess of Disc, the Princess of Disc, she's a very generous figure. I like to think of she's the earthy part of water. And I like to think of that as, when you think of earthy part of water, I just think of like plants growing, and I think of I don't have her here, but I think of like like lush forests, lush forests, and I promise English is my first language. Lush forests, but my point with her is she's very generous in her energy. This is a very, very nurturing, and I feel like this is asking for you to be generous with yourself, to give, to what you would give to others. I feel like, this might say you have a tendency maybe to overgive. You're very generous with your abundance. You love you want everyone to feel good. You can handle it, but when someone's feeling down, you're the first one there to just like, hey buddy, let's turn that frown upside down, blah blah blah, all this stuff. I feel like the Princess of Cups is now inviting you to do that for yourself. That's intuitive what I'm feeling here. This is what your higher self wants. Give that same type of generosity you would give to a stranger to the one you're with all the time. You are with you every second of every day. So why not be super generous with this person? You should be the most generous with you. And that's nice here that it's this that this Ten of Wands kind of popped up, because I do feel like this is your higher self kind of saying you where you have been. It's time to, you might have been, for some of you, maybe you've took that Knight of Swords and you've not been channeling it towards yourself, and it's gone out elsewhere, and now this energy doesn't know what to do anymore. It's just spread out. It's become this big fire, because the Ten of Wands is about it gives me very like oppressive, and obviously, well, duh, because oppression's on here, but not just that. It gives me very like very suffocating. You got your wands, you got your Eight of Wands here underneath here, which usually like that should be like a really nice burning fire, but then you got these two dominant figures right here, these two dominant bars, and these are from the Two of Wands, and this is kind of like your energy out of whack. The Ten of Wands is the most destructive aspect of fire, goes back to that destructive logic here. So with this, I feel like with the Ten of Wands here, this is asking you to, to really, it's time to take that energy and to just give back. You're spent. Now it's getting to the point where you're running yourself to then, and now it's just like you're reaching into reserves that you're just pushing yourself way past the limit, and there's no need for that. I feel like this is and with the Prince of Wands being here with it, I feel like this is kind of telling you to, this is what is going to happen when you've taken that time to, when you're generous with yourself, when you've kind of getting out of your way, when your energy is not so smothered, when you feel like you can breathe again. I feel like this is the Prince of Wands kind of saying, like, it almost feels like a rebirth. You're kind of like revitalized to go out, tackle new things, do what you want to do, get to this Knight of Wands, to maybe channel it elsewhere, not if you channeled it, to yourself. So really, I hope that makes sense. Really with these three, I really feel like it's saying, once you've poured that energy into yourself, that's going to really help alleviate this feeling of I get really overwhelming energy here, where it's like the walls are closing in type of energy. It's like you have all this energy, but you don't even know what to deal with. So now it's just destroying itself. The energy is being fed into Five of Cups, and now turning into your devil moment. And we're done with that, Leo. I told you about this Five of Cups. We're done with that Five of Cups. So, hold on, let me switch back, because I think we're good on these cards. Let me switch back. So, Leo, my last thoughts on that is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and then good things are going to be on the horizon, okay? I hope that resonated with you. I dug it. Please like, share, subscribe. I post videos every Sunday, and I feel like there's something else I wanted to say. Check your for a clear picture of what's going on with you, because it's one thing to just throw self-care, but it's just like, well, then what else do I do, Justin? Check your moon, check your rising, because you already know your sun here, Leo. And what's a challenge this week? Check your Venus this week, since the nature of your problem is with that Two of Cups. I said it's the Venus in Cancer. Find out what sign is in your Venus. That's kind of like how you love, how you process emotions. So, maybe take this time. That's going to be a challenge of the week for you, Leo. Find that out and then go nurture that, okay? Now, on to my favorite segment, and hopefully it'll become yours too, which is Celestial News Weekly. And this is just a little segment just to go over what's going on in the cosmos, because it's, tarot is one thing, this is kind of like some guidance, just a loose guidance to help you get through your week. But then, once you when you're going to go about your day, I promise I'm gonna get to it. I'm just trying to sell how how great this is. Before you go outside, you're looking out for what the weather is. So why not do the same thing for when the planets are acting crazy? And that's gonna make you, and not acting crazy, but when the planets are influencing you, because when you're aware of that kind of stuff, I tell you what, you're gonna notice, like, you'll be able to, things stop happening. You're able to anticipate things a lot more. So that's my kind of goal with the Celestial News Weekly. So without further ado, and I obviously, oh wow, because the camera's here, I'm checking out some notes here just because there's kind of a lot going on. I got some newer stuff that I wanted to introduce you all to. So it's kind of a light week this week. Tomorrow on the 17th, it's going to be the last quarter moon. And the last quarter moon is about, it represents transition and completion and like letting go and like taking responsibility for our Five of Cups, but also for our Six of Cups, for our mistakes and our accomplishments. So I feel like this is a time, if this could be a good time for you to kind of just like let go of this negative mentality, really kind of, as we're approaching to that new moon, to get ready to establish some new stuff going into the next cycle. This is, I feel like, a good time for you to to really kind of let go some of that negative thinking, and to really to get on that. I think this is a good chance for change, Leo, and I think that is going to be a very rewarding one once you take it. Be compassionate with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, but once you do start noticing the progress, man, it's really the greatest thing. I did this last week. She was obnoxious last week, but she just likes to show up. Self-care. That's what I'm going to leave on that one. Fun fact, I won't go into all the retrogrades because I went into those last week. So if you're curious about those, I include those in last week. And I'll include them as retrogrades and things go back and direct and stuff. But I don't want to harp on that every week. But a fun retrograde you might not be aware of is Chiron is in retrograde. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Chiron, Chiron just got on my radar not too long ago. But Chiron is... It was considered an asteroid, but then it got reclassified as a minor planet. And it hovers between, not hovers, its orbit is between, well, I guess hover. It orbits between Saturn and Uranus. And it's known as the wound healer. It's named after the Greek centaur in Greek centaur in mythology, who was the healer who couldn't heal himself. He trained like Achilles and Hercules. But the whole thing about that one is with it being in retrograde, and it'll be in retrograde to the 23rd. But it's like a time of like internal heal. It's a time to Two of Cups. It's a total, wow, thank you, Chiron. It's a total time to Two of Cups. This is really, to do some self-healing. Be generous with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Have fun, because that's what Chiron wants. Chiron wants you to heal. It's a time of catharsis. What is it that what is it that's been just like kind of dragging down on me, and how can I just push that out of there, and really kind of start and really kind of come into this this voluntary change. How can I come into that kind of with a fresh perspective? So I feel like this is kind of the time, do some soul searching. It's going to bring about a divine wisdom that you wouldn't have even saw coming. Now, last but not least, going to a couple things, new terms that I've really been kind of curious about over the last few months, and that's going over aspects. And so aspects are kind of how each of the celestial bodies relates to one another in a sign, and I'll have a better definition of that next week, because I am going to start incorporating these more. But with one thing, I only included two. I didn't want to overwhelm too much at once. But with right now, can you tell? First time with this. we have the sun in trine with Mars. And what that means is within 120 degrees. Anything trine is 120. It's Trine. And it ends on the 26th of this month. But with the sun being trine with Mars, that's just like you feel like this impetus to push forward on projects. There's like this you feel just like this. You feel not stimulated, but there's like you feel like this inclination that you just want to just to kind of really just start something, you get that itching feeling like I need to go create something. I need to do something. You know what you need to do, Cleo? 2 of Cups. I'm at 2 of Cups. And then lastly, Venus is squaring Pluto, and when something is square, 90 degrees. So that's easy one. And that ends on the 25th of this month. But with Venus squaring Pluto, that's kind of like being aware of any sort of discord in relationships. It might be a time to deal with some things. There might be some changes that might need to be addressed. So that's pretty much all that goes on with these there. The aspects change all the time, and I'll be talking about them more as we go along with these things over the weeks, and I promise this will be less clunky. Thank you for sticking around with me. As a bonus, pull a surprise card at the bottom of the deck here before we get you out of here. Ha! 9 of Cups. See? So we're going to self-care. What have we learned? We're going to self-care so that we can fill our 2 of Cups, so that they can become 6 of Cups, and so that we get our 9 of Cups, so that we get... Oh, it's upside down. See how happy I was? It was upside down. Happiness, Leo. That's what we want, is happiness. So what a lovely way to... Thank you for showing up. What a lovely way to end off. Self-care, happiness. Well, hold on. Let me not just throw. Let's Empress. Let's 2 of Cups. Let's 6 of Cups, so that we can be happy. And that's all I want for you, Leo. That's all you should want for you. All right? So I hope you like that, y'all. Until next time, let's keep raising the vibration, okay? I'll see you on the next one. Bye.